Here's the cargo that sympathetically accepted to divert his route to give me some fuel. So we're preparing the maneuver with the captain, because as you can see, the cargo moves quite a bit in the swell, and we're going to have to be careful transferring the fuel. I don't care to damage my boat any more than it is already. This is a refueling out at sea that's outside the norms. A 229-meter long and 32-wide bulk carrier gauging 80,000 tons and a dismasted 60 feet IMOCA, short on energy to reach the coastline in total security.
I would like to really thank you very much for your kind solidarity.
Stéphane should reach the small harbour of Portland, Australia by nighttime. At the head of the race, the gap is shortening between Alex Thompson and Armel. Within 4 days, the Welsh has caught up 540 miles on the Brittany chap, who now is negotiating a delicate passage stuck between a light wind zone and the Antarctic exclusion zone. The race is revived, it's not yet over.
It's pretty windy, so I thought I'd roll the jib away for a little bit. I'm still averaging 17 or 18 knots, which is the mainsail, so I'll go like that for a few hours. No problems. I could do with a little bit of sleep, so yeah, I'll go slowly for a couple of hours now, get some sleep.
In third position, Jérémy Bayou just crossed Cape Horn. Jean-Pierre Dic's turn should be in the next 2 days. It's a little dark night style on board Saint-Michel Virbac, but what's to beat the last heavy winds before the Cape Horn? I'm about to take this up in a cool mode, Father Christmas style, as they say. An ocean, the Pacific, separates the first from the last with 14,300 kilometers. The last is Sébastien Destremaux, who will cross tomorrow the mythical longitude of the Cape Leeuwin south of Australia. For me, it's important. My life is split between France and Australia. My children are in Australia. I will wave to them in a few hours because I'm only 60 miles away from crossing, and we agreed we would wave at each other. So kids, I'm about to get there. I'm coming. Wait, I'm almost there.
It is an ancient mariner who stoppeth one of three. By thy long grey beard and glittering eye, now wherefore stoppest thou me? The bridegroom's doors are opened wide, and I am next of kin. The feast is set, the guests are met, must hear the merry din. He holds him with his skinny hand. There was a ship, quoth he. Hold off, unhand me, greybeard loon. Eftsoons his hand dropped he. He holds him with his glittering eye. The wedding guest stood still, and listens like a 3 years child. The mariner hath his will. Those are the opening stanzas to The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And I used to be able to recite actually all 625 lines, but that was a while ago. But you may wonder why I bring that up. Well, I'm going to turn the camera around here now and look at the chart. And so back in 2008 on the globe, as we were coming along here similarly, we actually passed close aboard Adams Island. I was able to just see it in the evening, and I was wondering what might be in there. And I'll scroll out here a little bit. You can see here North Island, South Island of New Zealand. So these are the Auckland Islands to the south of New Zealand. So I scrolled in and saw Adams Island here, scrolled in a little further, and then as I got in a little bit, bingo, Coleridge Bay. And why that was important was that along that chart that I had at the time, that digital chart, there were albatross icons along here indicating that this was a rookery. And it would make sense, of course, over here 50 degrees, 55 minutes south, pretty far south, so might be a good place for a rookery for albatross. And whether there was any connection here, whether Samuel Taylor Coleridge had in fact visited the islands and saw the albatross and then wrote the poem, or a mariner had read the poem and dedicated or named the bay after Samuel Taylor Coleridge after seeing the albatross. The albatross, of course, playing a prominent role in the poem as the ship sails south. It's at length did cross an albatross, through the fog it came, as if it had been a Christian soul, we hailed it in God's name. It ate the food we ne'er had eat, round and round it flew. The ice did split with a thunder fit, the helmsman steered us through. And a good south wind sprung up behind, the albatross did follow, and every day for food or play came to the mariners' hello. And obviously great good luck coming because of the albatross arriving, but then the ancient mariner, with my crossbow, I shot the albatross, and thereafter all manner of bad luck happens to the ship and crew. So from that poem, of course, so many wonderful stanzas have come. Oh, sleep it is a gentle thing, beloved from pole to pole. To Mary Queen the praise be given. She sent the gentle sleep from heaven that slipped into my soul. I love that one. And then, of course, the alone, alone, all alone, alone on a wide, wide sea. And never a saint took pity on this soul in agony. Can relate to that down here in the Vendee Globe, in the deep south, the cold and the gales. And of course the iconic water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. And of course that's why we have the desalinator on board, to make that water that you can't drink drinkable. Anyway, if anybody has any idea as to whether there's a connection there, I certainly like to think that there is. Whether Samuel Taylor Coleridge visited, saw the albatross and wrote the poem, or whether he wrote the poem and a mariner had read it and then saw the bay and the rookery and dedicated it to him. It would be interesting to know. So let us know if you find out or have any knowledge about that. Great American 4 off for today.
And a very warm welcome to our Vendee Globe Live here at the base of the Eiffel Tower. Another lovely day in Paris, down at Cape Horn. Jeremy Bayou arriving in third place, his first ever Cape Horn rounding, and the match is on in the South Atlantic. Alex Thompson is close to within 279 miles of Armel Cléache. Armel Cléache still slightly slowed, and in the meantime, Roman Attanasio, a double bonus for him, crossing Cape Leeuwin and also probably passing Peter Harima at the same time. Our guest today, we're joined by the triumphant return of Guillaume Domil, who will give us an update on what the French skippers are saying after his long Christmas break. And in America, we have Bruce Schwab. Bruce did the 2004-2005 Vendee Globe in 109 days and finished in 9th place. Also did the Around Alone race. Bruce is joining us, and hopefully we'll link him up with Rich Wilson. And in Catalonia, Aleix Gelabert did the Barcelona World Race and finished 4th, along with Didac Costa, and we'll speak with Aleix. Aleix spoke with Didac earlier on in the day. But start our programme with a look through the fleet as it stands at midday with our 3D fly-through. And looking, as I said, a double bonus day for Roman Attanasio, crossing Cape Leeuwin and passing Peter Harima. Peter still trying to sort out his pilot issues up there in the north. Meantime, 600 miles further forward, Didac Costa, the Catalan fireman, is going well still in this international group, the NATO group down there, just waiting for the low pressure to move away. There's Endo Okoinin just to weather of Bellion and Rura. Then moving further forward, Conrad Coleman just lining up for the big storm behind him. He's going to get some strong winds. Nandor Fa in a good situation further forward. Then Louis Burton, nice settled condition for him. And this battle for 5th. Well, Jean-Pierre Dick is moving away from them. He's got good conditions today and is going fast. A nice, comfortable lead for him. And then Jeremy Bayou should be just approaching Cape Horn, his first Cape Horn, and he's approaching just about now. Love it when the skippers arrive during our live. Alex Thompson climbing nicely in strong winds, hit about 30 knots and was going pretty quick. And Armel Cléache still slowed a little bit just now. So Alex Thompson on that fast descent of the South Atlantic just now. We spoke to him a little bit earlier on in the morning. It was just short and sharp. He was finding a little bit fast in 30-knot breezes and said he was just taking the foot off the gas for the moment. This was Alex, I say, just a short interval this morning. This is Alex Thompson.
Yeah, I've just slowed down a bit actually. I don't know how much wind I have. I don't have any wind instruments anymore for some reason, but it's pretty windy, and so yeah, I've slowed down. It also allows me to get some weather information when I'm going really fast. I think all the water coming over the bow, over the satellite antenna, the only one I've got left. And so I don't get it. I can't get it in the internet, and I can't make any telephone calls. So I thought I'd roll the jib away for a little bit. I'm still averaging 17 or 18 knots, which is the mainsail. So I'll go like that for a few hours. No problems. Could do with a little bit of sleep. So yeah, I'll go slowly for a couple of hours now, get some sleep, and this should be my last.
Yeah, that was Alex Thompson this morning. Not a very good line, just saying that he's struggling with communications just now. A lot of water over the deck. He's only got one satellite antenna left and not getting internet, not getting calls back to shore just now. Hence the reason that he's rolled away his head sails and was sailing under mainsail only. He said he'd do that for 2 or 3 hours until he had a little bit of sleep, and then would continue his attack up the Atlantic. Tried to get to Armel this morning, no reply.
No, it wasn't possible because he was stuck between the ice wall and the low pressure, so maybe he was maneuvering.
Under a little bit of pressure in all directions, perhaps. But anyway, come back to you in a minute, Guillaume. We do, I hope, have... well, actually, we have Rich Wilson online. We also have Bruce Schwab. Rich, how are you?
Good. Yes, I can.
Rich, how are you? Can you hear us, Rich?
Yes, I can, Andy. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rich, how are you?
Doing fine. We've been actually sort of coming back up on the tail end of this depression today, so it's not moving away from us as quickly as we thought. So we're actually getting back into the seaway. It's been quite chaotic today, but I'm back a little further than the others that are up ahead, and so they're getting it worse than I am.
Rich, how accurately can you monitor the progress of the depression? What are your tools?
I've been using the GRIB files, standard GFS GRIB files. I don't have the EC files, but it's been reasonably accurate, I think. About every 8 hours I'll get a new one and just try to compare between different generations as to how the forecasters are thinking it's going to move. And then I've got 2 barographs here at the chart table, and so monitoring those quite closely as well. And I think that that's it's an old-time tool, but a really, really useful tool. So that's pretty much how we're trying to keep track of it all.
Rich, you're certainly glad to be behind the system rather than in front of it.
Oh, I think that we were really lucky in that when this was forecast to develop, that our group, actually now there's a group of 6 here, were back enough so that we were going to be behind it, or at least when it started out, we were going to be in the middle of it, and so we would not feel the full brunt of it. And so, that Conrad Coleman up there looked like he's kind of lined right up in the worst part of the worst quadrant of the depression there, and I think I hope that he's going to be okay. He's a great mariner, but boy, he's got a lot of wind coming, and I think big waves too. I mean, I was quite surprised at how big the seas got for the amount of wind that we did have, and then how, in fact, as the wind diminished, how that sea state just maintained itself, and just totally chaotic today. This morning I went up on the foredeck to get the fractional Jenniker ready to go, and I couldn't stand up on the deck. I just had to crawl everywhere. It was just complete chaos and boat bouncing in every direction. I was thinking that the bull riders have it easy because they only have to stay on the bull for 8 seconds. We've got to stay on the boat for the whole time. It's incredible.
You stay with it, Rich. Anyway, listen, we have a special guest for you. Bruce Schwab from home would like to speak with you today. Bruce, over to you.
Hello, Rich.
Hi, Bruce. How are you? I can tell you that your solar panels and your batteries are doing just great.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. It's been very fun to watch your race, Rich. You're doing a great job. Very fun to watch. Great job.
Good. Well, thanks. Appreciate that. And you being the first American to finish the Vendee Globe back in 2004, I was happy to sail in your wake, Bruce.
I really enjoy watching you look after the group in front of you. It looks like you're sort of herding them like the mother turkey. You're keeping an eye on all of them.
Well, actually, that's just because I'm going slower than they all are. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna ask Alan and Eric actually what sails they have up because I'm interested. They're just always going. I think that Eric has a special staysail that was the one that Michel Desjoyeaux used in 2008 to such great effect. But Alan also is just, they're always going about 2 knots faster than I am. And maybe that's a little bit of youth. I'm a little conservative here at my age, but not sure. I'm just curious how it's happening because I'm going fast, I think, and fast for me anyway. But they're always just pulling away. So it might look like I'm shepherding, but actually I'm just hanging on.
I think they want to stay in front of you because they feel safer there. You behind them, they feel safer.
Well, we've had just wonderful email exchanges between the 3 of us, and then some also with Enda. And that part of this race has been very special for me, being in touch. I was just actually telling an email just a few hours ago I sent to Alan in response to one of his, telling the story of the 2008 race when they entered the Indian Ocean in a group of 5 boats, and I was the only one to come out of it. The other 4 boats had to abandon, and so headed off into the Pacific with a big gap in front and big gap behind, and was worried about any kind of an accident like the one that Jan Elias had where he was so severely injured happening out in the middle of the Pacific. And that's when Samantha Davies, who was way up ahead of me, sent me an email, and she said, "Hi, Rich. I see you've lost the last running mate from your group. It won't be much fun to sail the Pacific alone, so I'll be your virtual running mate, and I'll check in with you every couple of days." And she did, and it really helped me a lot. And I think that there's that brotherhood, sisterhood of Vendee Globe competitors, but we're really friends down here too. We're friends, and that part of it's very special. I think I've really enjoyed that. Anyway, I'm hoping to be able to hang on to the tail end of the group as it goes across the Pacific.
Bruce, do you have any questions for Rich?
Yeah, Rich, I've been wondering what ratio of energy have you been getting from your hydro generators compared to the engines? Is it mostly from your engine, or you getting some use from the hydro as well?
Actually, good question. And on our website, we're logging that every day for the school program. And I can tell you right now that from the engine, we've had about 3,600 amp hours. From solar, 670. From the hydros, 12,500. And from the wind turbine, 2,000 amp hours. So we've got good data that way. We actually shut off the solar for a while until we understood what had happened with Conrad Coleman's the fire he had on board and the solar regulators, and it got wet apparently, and so those will be a little bit higher. But I think what we can basically run this boat off the renewables for sure. We've only gone through about 10 liters of fuel, I think, and I will use the engine to charge if we're, like when we were coming up to the depression, just wanted to make sure that we had full batteries, and so put an engine charge in. But been pretty, the renewables are great. They're just great, and it's nice to have the combination, I think, as well, and not just rely on the hydro generators.
Good, Rich. Rich, as ever, a pleasure to speak with you. We'll join you again in a few days, and stay safe and stay fast.
Good. Thanks very much, Andy. Nice to talk to you, Bruce.
Bye, Rich.
Bye-bye. Au revoir. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Rich. Well, Bruce Schwab in the USA. Bruce, your thoughts on Rich's race? What an incredible mariner.
Yes, he has so much experience. He's got so many miles at sea. Having done the Vendee before, like I said, I think the other competitors that are in this group are in a good place in front of him. Very safe place to be, Rich Wilson.
What do you remember about your race? What was the outstanding moments of your race, vis-a-vis, for example, where Rich is at the moment?
I had a few problems back then, I remember. I was looking after the boat, fixing a few things. Nothing really major, just niggling little things. I think the worst thing for me was just worrying. I would worry about things, maybe even more than I should. But if you're not worrying, then you're not being careful enough. And I just remember worrying about my creaking keel and a few other little things. I had a leaking boot around my rudder post I had to spend time fixing. So those things stick in my mind. It's good to worry. If you're not worried, you could be in trouble.
So just interpret what Rich was saying about his energy resources at the moment. What does that mean for the layman?
Well, he's got a good mix. That's what he pointed out, that he has a good mix of renewables there with the solar, the wind, and the hydros, providing pretty much most of his power. As the engine as a backup, most boats use the engine for most of their power. Rich likes to cover all the bases and be very conservative, and I think that's a good mix. And I think what you see on his boat is something you would have on a high-performance cruising boat as well. The mix of solar, wind, hydro, and then the engine as a backup. Conrad's situation is unusual in that it's all renewable and has no.
And Bruce, from that point of view, where do you think we'll be in 2020? Obviously, Conrad looking good at the moment in terms of his situation. He doesn't seem to have too many energy problems, at least. Where would you expect us to be in 2020? Will what Conrad's doing be much more the norm?
Very likely. I think other boats may want to try that. I think that the renewables are nice in that they don't. You don't have to change the oil. You don't have to listen to the engine run. There's a lot of advantages to it. I think that the disadvantages would be potential range if you did have a problem and had to motor for a long period of time. And a couple of boats have had issues where they've lost their mast or had to motor for a while. With the electric propulsion and the batteries, you'd be very limited in range. But aside from that, renewables are nice. I have a 70-volt electric car, and once you start driving electric, it's pretty hard to resist.
Good. And I mean, the Vendee Globe was good for you in terms of launching you into the kind of renewables business, wasn't it?
Yes, I think that spending a lot of time looking at my battery monitor pretty much turned me into an electric geek, an energy geek. And, you always wonder where your energy is coming from. I had a lot of solar panels. I had about half my energy came from solar, even back in 2004.
And the Vendee Globe, is that in the past for you? Do you look at Rich at 66 and think, I might do it again?
I think about it, but then I think again.
And what's the kind of the profile in the USA for the Vendee Globe?
Well, I have a lot of friends that are following the race, people that aren't even sailors. I think even back in 2004, the amount of followers I had was amazing, who followed Ocean Planet. I had a great number of supporters. I received emails from a hotel in Arizona, or something that is amazing. All over the country, we had people following. I have lots of friends that are following Rich, and of course, it's great to see Alex Thompson. He's being so fast and so competitive. That keeps a lot of us English speakers excited.
Good. Well, a pleasure to speak with you, Bruce. Do join us again at some point over the course of the race, and thanks very much.
My pleasure.
So it's Bruce Schwab who spoke with Rich Wilson, and Bruce, of course, was the first American to complete the Vendee Globe back in 2005. Let's have a look at the weather situation as of today, looking forward to tomorrow. So the situation in the South Atlantic still looking quite complicated for Armel still up against a high-pressure ridge. Alex Thompson still making good progress. Let's look at the chart just now this morning. And Banque Populaire, as I said, just at this ridge of high pressure that extends all the way down from the Argentinian coast and looking still complicated for him to the north. Meantime, Hugo Boss, Alex Thompson coming in on this the edge of this low pressure in northwesterly breeze, still 25 to 30 knots for him. And then looking at Jeremy Bayou coming into Cape Horn just now, a nice 25 knot westerly breeze coming round, and he should jibe before the Cape Horn. And good conditions for him. Also northwesterly here for Jean-Pierre Dick, moving further and further away from the two boats behind him on Saint-Michel. Veer back, so good conditions for him. Then looking then at the group here, this is Finisterre-Mer is Jan Elias and Finisterre-Mer is Jean Le Cam and Jan Elias together. They're at the back of this low pressure. The low pressure centre is separating them now from Jean-Pierre Dick. So Jean-Pierre Dick moving further away all the time. And the passage still good for Louis Burton on Bourreau Valley in this northerly and northwesterly flow just at the front of the low and under the high pressure system. So that's continuing for him, and he's coming in all the way with good wind pressure. And Spirit of Hungary here, generally light breezes for Nandor-Fa, but well clear for the moment of this big low pressure. And the big low pressure system is a little bit of a problem just now for Conrad Coleman. Conrad Coleman just here in Foresight Natural Energy is in front of the low pressure, and that is going to give him some serious winds over the course of the next 48 hours. He's just at the front of the system, has moved a little bit north, but he does seem to be in the path of it for the meantime. And the group of 6, which are behind here, they're behind the low pressure system, not in too many problems, and they have been slowed, and the low is moving away from them, so good for them. One Planet, One Ocean, Didac Costa, just in a ridge of high pressure. Just the lighter breezes for him just now from the north or west of, or east of north, sorry. And no significant problems for the two boats behind. That's Roman Atanasio and Sebastian Destremo. Destremo just a little bit more breeze from the south just now. But everything to play for. Game on in the South Atlantic for Armel Leclerc and for Alex Thompson. And difficult situation for Conrad Coleman. That's the weather. Indeed, difficult situation for Conrad Coleman and the battle on the South Atlantic. Guillaume, let's have a little update. Who did you speak to with the French skippers this morning?
So this morning at 10 a.m. we had Arnaud Boissière, and Arnaud told us he wouldn't be Conrad Coleman because Conrad is in front of the high pressure. And it's not a high pressure, it's more a storm because there are 60 knots of wind, so it's a lot. But Arnaud is okay, he's satisfied to be in the group of 6 boats in the back of this depression. He still have 30 knots of wind, and he takes care of the boat because he had sail problems, but no more. But he prefers to preserve the boat. And we also have Sébastien Destremo, you know, the office, the famous Sébastien Destremo.
Approaching Cape Leeuwin.
That's it, the Cape Leeuwin, big step for him because he spends a lot of time between France and Australia because his children live in Australia. So he's happy, but he wants to check the boat before going to the Pacific, so he will stop maybe in Tasmania or maybe in New Zealand. He will see.
And we didn't get Armel this morning.
No, we didn't reach Armel. Maybe
the jackal.
The jackal, but maybe this time it's Alex Thompson, the jackal.
It may indeed be.
He's chasing Armel and he's going pretty fast. Armel, maybe he was out on the deck, maybe because he's stuck between the ice wall and the low pressure, so we'll see. And maybe a quick word about Paul Meillat.
Yep.
He's retired, but maybe after he's getting the new kill ram, he will get back and finish the circumnavigation. Of course, he's not in the race, but maybe he will try to finish the Vendee Globe.
That would be good for him, just from a morale point of view, and also gets the boat back to France. But
that's it.
I think they're up in Polynesia, and they're going to. The team are meeting them to fix the keel ram. Is that right?
That's it. Yes, it's a Maître Coq who will give them a keel ram. And maybe it's quicker, yes, to finish the circumnavigations and go back.
That's right. Anyway, thank you, Guillaume. Join us again tomorrow.
Sure.
In the meantime, I hope that we have Alex Gelabert in Catalonia. Alex, can you hear me? There we go.
Hello, how are you, Andy?
Very, very good. You spoke with your old co-skipper, Didac Costa, this morning. He's on great form.
Yes, he's really great. I spoke with him this morning, and I think he's very happy and he's going quite good.
It was funny to listen because he couldn't believe it was you who'd called him. He was saying, "Is that you, Alex?"
Yeah, he couldn't believe it. We haven't talked since this morning. We had a couple of emails, but we haven't talked by phone at all.
And what was he saying? How's the boat going?
Well, the boat is good. It's like it's usually part of the race. Some small problems, but the big things are mainly okay, and all is really good.
And what was he saying about some sail problems? So how is he adapting his routing? How is he changing his approach because of the sail problems?
Yeah, he had a little problem with the sails, so he had to change a little bit the routings, not much. He is not going to push really hard. He has a problem with the J3. And he doesn't want to.
So he's got no G3.
He has J3, but he's not using as he should. He's going to conserve a little bit more, and instead of put the J3, just put the J4.
I see. And how much does he monitor the boats in front of him and behind him? Or is he really just sailing his own race?
Yeah, he's sailing his own race. He's looking at the boats on the front, but he says that they are quite far away. He has to think about what he is going on and what he is doing, and if the weather systems can make him to go a little bit forward, he will try to reach them, but he's not going to push harder to try to find to get the other boats. So he's going to sail his own race and see what is happening.
And how is he enjoying the south? I mean, he's a skipper who appears to be very much at home in the south, despite coming from the Mediterranean.
Well, he thinks it's a lot of different with where we're sailing together, but I think he's having fun. He's enjoying the south, and there is not much time to enjoy. He says there's a lot of things to do when you are on yourself, but he's doing well, I think. It's a lot more intense, he says. And for the moment, he's claiming that he doesn't have a lot of cold, that some days of cold, but these past 2 days, I think it was quite warm, and he's enjoying.
And is he thinking about future races? About another Barcelona World Race, about Transac Jacques Vabre? Is he thinking about the future as he goes round, or is he just one thing at a time?
Now he's focused on finish this race. It's a lot of things to do yet, but I'm pretty sure that this race will help him to think about new races and other things that he can do.
And what, I mean, what is Didac like? Just you obviously did a whole round the world with him. What's he like as a character? What's his strength?
Well, he is very quiet. He's how do you say? He has a lot of energy, and he thinks what he has to do, and it's. I think he needs to. How do you say? Just think what he's going to need and sail. Sail easy and don't break things and try to finish the race.
And of course, it's a very, very special boat that you both have a very strong bond with.
Yeah, we had a very special feeling with this boat. For us, was a boat that was mythic boat from Ellen MacArthur, and we have like a special feeling with it. And I think he will feel this feeling again in this race and sailing along this boat like Ellen did.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Aleix. All the best to you and all your friends up in Catalonia, and have a good new year.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So it's Aleix Gilabert who spoke with Didac Costa, and hopefully we'll join them up again over the course of the race. That's what we have time for today from our Vendee Live. Join us again tomorrow. Thanks once again to Guillaume.
Yeah,
He'll be back tomorrow. Join us again the same time, the same place for Vendee Live in English.